Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Today we're going to talk about here in the Philippines, what is the best thing to do? Rent? I've talked about this before. Or purchase a house or lease a house. I'm going to give you some alternatives and give you some ideas. Some guys are here. We had lunch yesterday with Mr. Tom Shipman. It was a great lunch. So shout out for Mr. Shipman on that. We had a good time. He bought my lunch yesterday. It was nice of him. I was planning on buying his, but he snuck and went to the bathroom and paid the bill. So good for him. So that means I owe him now. So let's talk about this video coming up. Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Guess what I'm going to talk about today? When you pay somebody something with money, make sure they're the actual owner of that money, of that property, or whatever you're giving the money to, because they can actually take the money and keep the money, and you not even know anything about it. I want to thank everybody for always watching my videos. Stay tuned. A great message story coming up. I briefly touched on this in another video, and I wanted to talk about this more in depth. We have a gentleman, he's a USA foreigner, came here about 3 years ago. Sorry about that, my puppy eating one thing, look down, he's eating something else, chewing on something, string, twine, doesn't matter, whatever's on the ground, he's going to find it. Rug. We have an American came here. He's been in, he built a house in Davao. He paid $50,000 USD on it. I started to say peso. Him and his wife purchased the land through a family member and built a house, a nice big house, 5-bedroom, 3-car garage, I think 2.5 bath, big walk-in kitchen, really all the comforts. It's an American style home here in the Philippines. And had it built the way he wanted to have it built. Took him about 8-9 months to build the house. And like I said, he's been here 3 years. Well, something happened. During this process, during all the things that's happened on this house, he thought that he owned the house 100% because that was what his wife told him, and that's what the family member told him. Well, come to find out, back the grandfather that actually owned the property gave it to each one of the sons, but one of the sons actually sold the property to the other son, and the, I'm just going to say 1, 2, and 3. The first son sold the property to the second son, and the second son actually owns it, but the first son stated that that's his property, and it really not. It's the second son's property. But anyway, he sold it to the sister. The second son is overseas, out and about. He works as on the ship. He's a cruiser. He goes on cruises. So, seaman. So he, anyway, the first son says, okay, it's my property. Go ahead and build the house on it. We'll do all the papers, this, that, and other. He took the money for the land and property, whatever that sum was. I don't really know what that was. Anyway, they built the house. Everything's fine and dandy. The second son comes home overseas from his time, and he's there. He's done. He's put in his 20. He's made good money, so he decided, he said, okay, I'll just do that. So everything's fine. He says, what is this? So he's there. He's not even there a week. And he says, sis, I see you built a house here. He says, so how did you do this? She said, well, we just built the house. He says, this is the land that I was going to build my house here in Davao, because it's like in a big, beautiful area. It's got banana trees in the back. It's just a beautiful, it's got big trees, like mango trees surround the house. It's a very beautiful spot. And he said, this is where I was going to build my house. And she goes, well, I bought it from the first son, whatever his name was. So come to find out, the second son says, no, he sold me this land. I bought this land from him. And she said, what? She said, yeah, I own this land. I gave I received money from him for this. In other words, I gave him money to buy this land. And she said, so he's received twice from me and you, and he's kept the money. Well, he's not around the picture. I mean, he's gone away because he sold land for high rate both times. Long story, the second son says, well, I want this property. I own it. I don't care what deed. I don't care what you have. I don't care what title you have. It's false. The American says, are you kidding me? I just paid, 3 million pesos to have this property built. 4 million peso, time it's all said and done, because it's got a gate, a beautiful, it's got an electronic gate. You push a button, it opens up automatically. It's solar, and it closes automatically with a keypad out front. I mean, it's done nice. In other words, it's his retirement home. He spent his retirement money. He's not like he has a lot of money. He works at Walmart, so he's just saved through the years. It worked as a cashier, or whatever, So, long story short, the guy says, "No, I want this is my property. So either vacate. There's no love there. You know what I mean? What do you mean vacate? You get off my property. This is my house now." And the American says, "No, this is my house." So they all went to the attorney. The attorney says, whether you fight it in court or not, you're going to lose, dude. I mean, you're a foreigner, and you built a house here, and your wife should have made sure that the first brother sold it to the second brother and make sure that everything was fine. She said, well, we got papers. He said, it's all false. I have the original. I have what Grandpa gave me, and I have the paperwork from my brother, and showed her to her. American got so upset, he says, okay, we're going back. We're going back to Alabama. I'm going back to get my job again. I'm going back to go to work at Walmart. You're going to go back there, and you're going to go back doing your job. She was a nurse. And you're going to go back, and we're going to go back and save again and just live in USA. She said, what about my family? He says, well, you just bring your family to US. She said, that's a very good idea. We'll just do that. So that's the goal. They're going to bring the family to US. Whatever family members want to come, one at a time, two at a time, whatever they can bring, whatever they can afford. Because remember, he spent most of all his money on that. Sure, he had backup. Sure, he had credit cards free and clear. As he stated to me, he says, Tom, I have enough. I have my backup cards. I have everything else. Now I got to use my backup cards to go back to USA and use my backup credit cards, $10,000 and another card of $20,000 for insurance, that because he's going to self-insure himself here, that so I can buy a house and start all over again, or rent an apartment or rent something, because he sold everything, and that's where he got the money to do this. So the wife is just disgusted about the whole thing. She thought that the husband was going to just really divorce her. He said, no, of course not. It's not your fault. You were misled. And so they're still together and everything is fine. They're back in USA, but they lost the house, the dream house that they had. The second brother, all he did was just move into the house that the American built for him. And he came here very rich, inexpensive. The first son is gone somewhere here in the Philippines, hiding out, whatever. The third son says, hey, can I move in with you? He says, why not? It's 5-bedroom house, you move in too, and bring the family and everybody else, because we have a beautiful place and I don't have to do anything. So the money that I have in the bank that I've saved for years to build a $1-2 million house, now I got a $3 million house, and I can live in it for free and don't have to worry about it because of a stupid deed on a property that they did not, and they don't have it here. So make sure you do that. And we did the same. We did our due diligence here. Make sure that this is secure for our and Ruth's future. Now, the moral of this whole story is, can you imagine the poor guy going back to work at Walmart? I think he said he's 66. Retired at 62. Right. So that would be right. He retired at 62. He's 66. That would be right. He's 66, and she is whatever. She's around his age. There's like 10 years or 12 years difference in their age. She's younger, of course. So she's going to go back as a nurse, which she doesn't mind. She was ready to retire here and stay with her family. And he was going back to work at Walmart. He called Walmart and says, of course, we'll hire you back. He's a front-end cashier now. He's cashier back to work. They're going to save for a house there. And they're going to save for a future in the United States of America. And he said that one thing that he did say to himself once he got here and realized that he's here for this, 2-3 years, that he did miss a lot of things in U.S. So he said maybe it's just God's way saying get back to U.S. and build a life there with my Filipina and bring the family. So the first ones to come, they're filling out the papers now as we speak, is Mama and Papa. So Mama and Papa is going there. Mama and Papa is excited about going there, and they have a place. He rented an apartment. They're living in an apartment, staying in an apartment. So they're going to get another house or something, rent a house or something until he gets his boots on the ground and gets situated there at Walmart. But you know as well as I do, the first brother, it'll come back on him 10 times. But I wanted to tell that story. It reminded me of that. He told me this last month, and I just was going to do a video on it and didn't think about it until I did this other video, and so I thought I'd just bring it up today. So that's our videos for today. Things amaze me. Things are rosy and fantastic, but you can't always look through the rose-colored glasses here, right? So there are some pitfalls that you got to be aware of. And even a Filipino can be scammed by family. God bless. Thank you so much for watching.